So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 different ways that the Amish celebrate Christmas. And at the end, I'm going to tell you about a related holiday that the Amish also celebrate. You may or may not have heard of it. A couple quick points. The way that Amish celebrate this holiday, as with other holidays, may vary. Just for example, just today I was visiting with an Amish family here in Kentucky, where I happen to be right now as I record this just a few days before Christmas. They're actually from a Swiss Amish background. And I asked them what they're doing for Christmas, which happens to fall on a Saturday this year. And they're actually going to be having church service on that day. And so that would mean they wouldn't have it on the following Sunday. So that's not something that all Amish are going to do, but that's something that they do within their church. Okay, just an example of a custom that you'll see in one church, but you may not see in another. So so the Amish, they don't do Santa Claus and things like that, although some will have some sort of decorations. You can actually see some of that here in these photos taken in an Indiana community, showing some outdoor decor. So you're going to have some families are going to be less strict, some are going to be more strict on those sorts of things. Just like, there's plainer Amish and there's less plain Amish. So these photos come from a quite progressive community, so it's not really surprising to see that there. So in Amish homes, you're not going to see Santa Claus, Christmas trees. You're not even going to see, baby Jesus in the front yard, or those kinds of things. But you may see simpler decor and decorations like wreaths. You may see candles. So the example we have today is from Holmes County, Ohio. A young Amish woman named Rebecca Miller shared with us how her family celebrates Christmas. So first thing, Christmas caroling. So Rebecca shares that she and her youth group of around 70 youth would go either by vans or by walking to a nearby nursing home. They spent the next couple hours singing for the older folks, widows, housebound people. They shared also some grocery bags, gift baskets, fruit trays, those sorts of things. She says that many other youth groups and then also families as well will go caroling. So this kind of old-fashioned custom still lives on within the Amish. Another way that Amish celebrate Christmas in her community is the Christmas program. This is very common in Amish schools. This would be the children putting on a Christmas program for their parents and guests, kind of seen as the highlight of the year for the Amish children. And what's a Christmas program? Well, it's an hour or longer, songs, poems, skits. So I've heard my Amish friends in Pennsylvania go over their sort of parts from the holiday programs that they put on. They tend to have humor in these skits, so they have a lot of fun with it, but it'll be Christmas oriented. Rebecca says that in her community there may also be a nativity scene. She notes that we want to keep with the true story of Christmas and the season of giving and joy. So after the program, they have gifts for the parents. The school children themselves do a gift exchange, some candy, and visiting. The teachers are also given a nice sized gift from the parents to show appreciation. By the way, if you're liking this video, if you don't mind, hit that like button for me. I appreciate that. Number 3, there will also be a youth Christmas supper. So describing one of these suppers, Rebecca says that they all gathered at her uncle's home, where they had several host mothers that had prepared a delicious supper of mashed potatoes, chicken, dressing, gravy. The girls brought in dinner rolls, desserts, salads. And then after the supper, they, again, sang some Christmas songs. Singing is something you're going to see Amish, or I should say hear Amish, do a lot when they gather, whether it's for a holiday occasion or just, a family gathering. So the youth will gather for their own supper, before Christmas. So on Christmas Day, number 4, Rebecca describes that as a quiet day spent at home, reading the Christmas story, again, singing, playing some games, and of course, eating all the food. Christmas Eve is also games and food at home the night before Christmas. So, in these things, the Amish Christmas is sounding probably a lot like the non-Amish Christmas, as a time to come together with family. And just like non-Amish, the Amish will exchange gifts. They tend to be practical things when it comes to the adults. Things like dishes, quilts, tools for men, toys for children. Could be a wooden toy. In that case, it would depend also on the community, because you're going to have some communities that the children have more progressive toys, so to speak, battery-operated toys and things like that English children would have as well. Hockey sticks, baseball gloves, those kinds of things. Amish people are avid hunters, so no doubt gifts that relate to that sport, games, those kind of things. As far as foods for Christmas, now a lot of this is going to be similar to what non-Amish people eat. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, dressing, stuffing, vegetables, pie, cranberry. So Karen Johnson Weiner talked a little bit about traditions in her northern New York area of the Amish there. She wrote that meats include turkey, chicken, ham as a main course. It's also butchering time this time of year. And so, you've got fresh sausage as well. Lots of pies. As far as like a characteristic or showcase Amish Christmas dish that's just specific to that time of year, I'm not aware of one commonly eaten. That doesn't mean that certain Amish families or communities wouldn't have maybe their own, favorite Christmas dishes, maybe even something special for this time of year. So a fifth way that the Amish celebrate Christmas, or we might say the holiday season in this case, are the family gatherings. That's kind of just like with non-Amish families that have their extended families over to visit. The Amish do just that. So, the family I visited with earlier today, they were just going to be visiting with Grandpa, basically, who lived in the next lane over, and getting over there. And they said that's usually where they gather, is at Grandpa's place. Here in Rebecca Miller's example, she wrote that we are hosting both Dad's and Mom's families this year. And in her case, they take turns. And they talk about New Year's Day as well, getting together on New Year's Day. Rebecca gave the example of having breakfast haystack for a brunch. New Year's Day is also spent, the visiting, once again singing, once again playing games, and once again a lot of food and catching up with people you haven't seen in a long while. Kind of like what we non-Amish do on these days. So other things. Christmas cards. Amish do exchange Christmas cards. That's pretty common. You can see some examples of Christmas cards here that English friends of mine have received from Amish. You'll see these cards kind of hung up and displayed in the home. They'll hang it up on a string and spanning the room, or tape them to the door. Amish bake, Christmas-themed cookies. One other thing the Amish celebrate as regards Christmas is the holiday of Old Christmas, which falls on January 6th. This day is also the date when Christian churches mark the Epiphany. However, the Amish refer to this day as Old Christmas, and that's what they're celebrating. And why is it Old Christmas? Well, that is due to the change in the Gregorian calendar in 1582. A certain number of days was removed from the calendar, and so what that ended up doing is it shifted the date of Christmas. That's also a visiting day, a family day. It's also a fast day. You don't eat in the morning. I'll just share with you one more observation on Old Christmas. This was actually by Saloma Miller Furlong. She was raised Amish. She was the author of a couple books, Why I Left the Amish and Bonnet Strings. Saloma wrote that in her family, as far as Christmas and Old Christmas, she described it like this. She wrote that it always felt like we celebrated with the rest of the world in December, and then the Amish observed their own private Christmas in January. We were not allowed to work on Old Christmas. We observed it as a religious holiday, just as we did Christmas and as we observe the Sabbath on Sundays. Not all Amish will celebrate Old Christmas, but many do. Swartz-and-Truber Amish are another example of a group that does. So, in summary, good food, gathering with family, singing, playing games, visiting with people that you might not have seen in some time. Because that's also the case with Amish. Just because they're Amish, they're family oriented. In many cases, the distance and other obligations prevent them from seeing one another. So it's a great time for visiting with a more extended family as well. All those things are important to the Amish as well at this time of year. But I'll just close with what Rebecca had to say about this holiday. She writes that the main focus of the season is still, first of all, remembering Christ. The true meaning of Christmas, family, gift giving, and helping cheer others. I hope this will give people a look into our home for the holidays. Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year to you all. This was adapted from something that Rebecca wrote for the website, the Amish Miracle website, several years back. So I hope you enjoy that. My name's Eric Wessner. I'm not Amish, but I've visited dozens of Amish communities around the country since 2004. I run the Amish America website. If you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, I do 2 videos per week. Thanks a lot for listening. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time.